Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the greatest recordings ever. And I continue to try and find recordings of chamber works that fit that description, that unambiguously fit that description, at least as unambiguously as I can make it, which is not easy given the excellence of so much that's out there. But I have found a stunning recording that was actually one of my discs of the year. That's how I know it was stunning. And everyone I've heard agrees, and I've let it marinate for a little while. It's all been marinating and simmering. And so, and then you listen to it again, and you want to make sure that it really holds up. And boy, is it held up. It's only grown in stature. It is this, the complete Mendelssohn string quartets with the Pacifica Quartet, pardon me, let me get that straight, on Cedille. Now, Cedille, as you know, is an independent label that really makes stunning sounding recordings. I mean, their engineering is as great as anything anybody does. And their artistic quality and repertoire selection is also really, really up there. But this was a little bit outside their fach in the sense that usually they do sort of enterprising collections in American music and stuff that's more based on the artistic community in Chicago. And last time I checked, the Pacifica Quartet was not based in Chicago, or at least the Pacific isn't in Chicago. I could be wrong about all of that, but because I'm just BSing. But the fact of the matter is, this is the most amazing set of string quartets. First of all, as music. Purely as music. People tend to avoid string quartets if you're like orchestral music fans, as I am, quite frankly, because they're not colorful enough, and they're supposed to be more intellectual, and even the ones that are supposed to be sublime, like the late Beethoven quartets, are difficult. Composers generally write, musicians' music when they're doing string quartets. And that's not an exception here, not really. But on the other hand, if you think that Mendelssohn was a sort of conservative, traditionalist, Victorian, wimpish gentleman, you got to hear these because they are amazing pieces of music. Muscular, sinewy, exciting. And in the last one, number 6, which was written after the death of his sister Fanny, one of the most unbelievably terrifying cries of expressionist horror in all of music. Really an amazing, amazing piece of music. But even the earlier ones are remarkable. The first 2 quartets, particularly number 2, which is Opus 13, that's the one, the string quartet in A minor. It's essentially the Liszt sonata of string quartets. Even though, Mendelssohn detested Liszt, but, he thought Liszt was horrifying. So did most people. But it's amazing. Mendelssohn was one of the very few composers who understood Beethoven's late quartets. They were considered to be eccentric, even dangerous, by the more conservative people. And Mendelssohn grew up in, a wealthy Jewish assimilated family that was always trying to blend in and show how, they could be more Catholic than the Pope, in some respects. And so his parents thought that his love of the late Beethoven quartets was very, very suspicious. It's kind of interesting, actually, because he was like 10 when he was loving, when he evinced that admiration. But because he was such an incredible musician, he understood them. I mean, he got them right away. And his own music shows that, at least the first 2 quartets, which are highly experimental. They're written in cyclical form with run-on movements and things. They're really, really amazing and emotionally very, very expressive. Powerful pieces. Really powerful pieces. And that, you don't expect that from Mendelssohn. You expect politeness and graciousness from Mendelssohn, as often as not. But the truth of the matter is, underneath that highly, highly polished exterior, there was an unbelievably neurotic, sort of sensitive, nervous, self-critical guy. He published very, very little of his music. He revised things constantly. He was good at everything he did. I mean, everything from translating Greek to playing polo to, whatever he could do. He did. He was terrific at. But he was best at writing music. And these 6 quartets, there are 6 quartets, let's be clear. There are 6 quartets that are sort of the mature quartets. Then there's an earlier quartet from 1823, which means he was like, I don't know, 5 or something when he wrote it. Who knows? He was quite young. And then you get the ones with opus numbers. The first one is opus 12 in E-flat major. It was actually the second, but it was published first. Then the A minor, which is just a screaming masterpiece of successful experimental form, structure, and expression. Then you've got the 3 quartets of opus 44. It's a group of 3. They are more classically shaped in the standard 4 movements, but they're full of just amazingly rich and interesting and colorful ideas. I mean, his handling of string textures, like, the octet, right? I mean, the man could write for strings, and they're just a joy to listen to. And then after his sister passed away, you have number 6, which is in E minor. It's not an E minor, it's an F minor, pardon me. And the F minor quartet is just harrowing, absolutely emotionally harrowing. Then there are 4 miscellaneous quartet movements. All of that is included here. And the performances by the Pacifica Quartet are unbelievable. They are as beautifully played, as intelligent, as elegantly shaped, and as expressively potent as anything you're going to hear by anybody. Now, it's not like there are many bad recordings of Mendelssohn quartets. Most of the people who do them are more than up to the task. But this was still special. It's helped by not just the excellence of the playing and the perfection, the technical perfection of the playing, which Mendelssohn regarded as sort of the sine qua non of his music in any case, but also the superlative engineering, amazing sonics. And it's hard to say that one of the greatest recordings ever is something that's only a few years old. But some things really do just hit you like a bomb going off. And this was a set that did it for me. And for a lot of other people I've spoken to, too. It was really astonishing just how finely made it is. In every particular, it's one of those sets where everything just went right. And it will go right for you, too, if you take a chance and listen to it. Don't let the fact that it's chamber music or Mendelssohn or quartets, make you hesitate. Just put it on and let it happen. And you will not be sorry. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.